Hey, y'all. Today, we're going to talk about this is the title of my TED Talk: Female Empowerment or Female Foolishness. This is the dangerous lie that we're teaching young women. America's having the wrong conversation about women. We argue endlessly about empowerment, equality, equity, and representation. We debate quotas, language, symbolism, and visibility. We measure progress in slogans and gestures. Yet we avoid a far more urgent issue, in my view. One that has nothing to do with boardrooms or ballots, and basically everything to do about survival.
Step back. You hit a vehicle.
This is what we're going to call female risk miscalculation. Young women are increasingly being taught that authority will not act against them. That consequences are negotiable.
Good morning. I'm Officer Benavides with the Orlando Police Department. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, please?
What is wrong with mine?
I'm sorry?
What's wrong with my tag?
There's nothing wrong with your tag. May I see your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, please?
Why do I have to?
I need to see your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance. This is a traffic stop. I need you to identify yourself. Yes, ma'am, it is.
I'm sorry, it's because I've been seeing a lot of news on the.
So the reason why I stopped you today is because your license is expired. Let me see your driver's license. Okay. Listen, if you refuse to identify yourself, I will take you to jail for resisting without violence. Either you identify yourself to me right now or I'm taking you to jail. Okay. I go 4-3. Can I get a 45, please? Turn off your car. Turn off your car. Turn off your car. Turn off your car. If you call somebody to come to this traffic stop, they will also get arrested for impeding on a traffic stop. Don't do this.
I'll call my lawyer.
Do not do this right now.
I can call my lawyer.
I need to see your ID. The ID is on the back of your phone. I need to see your driver's license.
And that moral certainty offers protection from real world danger.
Shoot me! Go ahead! Go ahead! Go ahead! Shoot me! Shoot me! Shoot me! Go ahead! Shoot me! Shoot me! Shoot me! You want to shoot me? You want to shoot me? Shoot me! Go ahead! Shoot me! Shoot me! Pepper spray me! Hurt me! Shame on you! On your grandmother!
They are told directly and indirectly that if their cause is righteous enough, the world will pause for them. I often tell people this, that a lot of these young women are hoping that everybody around them was raised better than they were. This lie is not empowering. It's lethal. So if we really truly care about women, not as symbols, not as political mascots, not as abstract victims or heroes, but as humans, we must navigate a dangerous and indifferent world. We must confront an uncomfortable truth. Some modern narratives are teaching women to behave in ways that put them directly in harm's way. And this is not an argument against women. This is an argument against lying to them. Human behavior follows incentives. There's a reason why I want to do that, right? It always has, and it always will. People don't act based on slogans. They act based on what happens when they push limits. They observe the outcomes, not the intention. They adjust behavior according to reward and punishment, not some moral theory. So when individuals learn through experience or observation that consequences are delayed, softened, redirected, or absorbed by others, their behavior changes. Escalation becomes a lot more likely. Boundaries are tested, and risk is misjudged. This principle is universal. It applies to kids, adults, corporations, governments, and individuals navigating social conflict. This is just how it is. In modern America, many women experience a unique combination of social and institutional bufferings that alters how risk is perceived and calculated. This buffering takes several forms. First one we're going to talk about is social leniency. Aggressive or disruptive behavior by women is often reframed as emotional expression rather than boundary violation, where similar behavior by men is interpreted as threatening or disorderly. Women are frequently afforded interpretive grace. Anger becomes frustration. Defiance becomes assertiveness. Escalation becomes standing up for oneself. Over time, this reframing sends a subtle but a powerful message. The same actions carry different meanings depending on who performs them. All right, here's the second one. It's called institutional hesitation.
Step on out of the car. You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
Step on out of the car.
Please don't.
Step on out of the car.
Don't. That's
Do it now. Do it now or I'll break this window.
If I,
Step on out of the car. You're under arrest.
Here?
Step on out of the car.
Here?
You're under arrest. Step on out of the car. You're under arrest.
you don't want to. You
Ma'am,
don't want to do this.
I've provided you multiple requests for your license, registration, and insurance. Okay, step on out of the car. Do it now.
She doesn't. I do not have to.
I will break this window.
I have to show that.
Authority figures, particularly male authority figures, police officers, whatever, teachers, are increasingly trained to de-escalate more cautiously with women. Now, this is not inherently wrong. Caution can prevent unnecessary harm, but prolonged hesitation also teaches a lesson. Authority is reluctant to act. When hesitation becomes predictable, it becomes exploitable. Not maliciously in most cases, but subconsciously. People learn how far they can go before anything happens. Okay, the third one. There's this presumptive victimhood. Modern culture narratives often presume that harm flows toward women and never from them. Women are framed as default victims in conflict scenarios.
If I continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning?
I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank you.
That's funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
Even when they are the initiating or escalating party. This presumption shapes public response, media framing, and institutional decision making. It also shapes self perception. Individuals who believe they cannot be seen as aggressors are more likely to misjudge how their actions will be interpreted under stress. Now, let's talk about moral shielding. Political and emotional framing frequently discourages accountability when behavior is cloaked as moral language. If an action is undertaken for a cause, scrutiny softens, responsibility blurs. None of this is universal. Many women behave responsibly, cautiously, and intelligently in high-risk situations. But the pattern is common enough to shape expectations, especially amongst younger women who are watching from the sidelines. Over time, some internalize a dangerous assumption. Nothing bad will happen to me. That assumption does not survive contact with reality. The illusion of safety persists, well, until it doesn't. Risk miscalculation often remains invisible during routine interactions. Peaceful protest, controlled environments, and it becomes visible only when chaos enters the picture. When time compresses and adrenaline spikes, and authority stops hesitating and starts reacting. These happen in traffic stops, crowd surges, law enforcement actions, federal operations, moments when movement, proximity, and compliance suddenly matters more than the narrative. And in these moments, the buffering evaporates. Authority doesn't have time to interpret intention. And there is no space for moral debate. And there's also no guarantee of restraint. What remains? Physics. And physics, as we all know, is unforgiving. Men and women are not taught the same lessons about physical escalation. Can we agree on that? Because this is not a value judgment. This is an observable reality. Here's what dudes learn early, often harshly, that force is met with force. You punch someone, they will punch you back. You push on someone, they'll probably punch you in the nose. And authority responds quickly to that. If you make a mistake, you're going to be punished right away. Escalation carries a physical risk. If you push it, you could get punched in the face. You could get tased. You could get shot. You may die, depending on the situation, of course. And these lessons don't come from ideology. They come from experience. Boys who cross physical boundaries are corrected, sometimes brutally, by their peers, by authority figures, or by reality itself. I like to tell this story because I like to tell this story. When I was 8, we had just moved to here, and there was a little boy who turned out to be an NFL football player later, but that's another story, who used to pick on me. Why? Because I talked plenty, and I was short and skinny, and I wore glasses. Yes, I've been wearing glasses since I was 8 years old. So I was the perfect one to be teased, right? And one afternoon, I was coming back from somewhere at school down the breezeway, and he was picking on me, pushing on me. So I don't know where it came from. I can't tell you, but I punched him. I had to reach up to punch him because he was easily a head taller than me. And I punched him, and I punched him right in the nose. And it started bleeding. And now we're both 8. Remember this now, we're both 8. So of course, what did he do? He started crying. Teacher came out. We both got sent to the office. But you know what he learned from then? And this is how we used, because this is the lesson that used to get taught and reinforced by our parents. You know what he learned? Don't mess with Willie. He will punch you in your face. Now, I didn't want to punch any. I was a new kid. I didn't want to punch anybody in their face. I didn't think this as an opportunity to dominate over anybody. But because that lesson was learned by this kid, it was seen by others. From that moment on, the amount of teasing that happened to me, bullying that happened to me, almost disappeared. Almost entirely disappeared. Why? Physics. And it didn't come from some ideology. It came from experience. Boys who cross physical boundaries are corrected, sometimes brutally. Now, this correction is not always fair, and it's not always just, but it's normally instructive. That stove is hot. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Men learn through consequences that misjudging escalation can end badly for you. Now, what women are being increasingly taught is this. Women, by contrast, are increasingly taught a different lesson. That emotion creates pause. People stop. Authority hesitates. Public sympathy somehow offers this protection. Moral certainty substitutes for caution. These lessons are not explicitly taught in classrooms, but they are taught through observation, through what women see other women do, and then what happens afterwards. These lessons are not equal, and they do not produce equal outcomes. When women escalate physically or defy armed authority, they often do so without fully grasping how quickly a situation can turn fatal. They assume time exists for explanation. They assume restraint will come. They assume someone else will intervene before the point of no return. And sometimes that gap between expectation and reality is deadly. Because one of the most dangerous myths sold to young women is that intent matters in high-risk encounters. It does not. Law enforcement officers, federal agents, military personnel, security forces are trained to respond to observable behavior, not some internal motivation. And in high-stress environments, decisions are driven by movement, speed, distance, non-compliance, perceived threat. They are not trained to interpret emotional sincerity. They are not trained to weigh moral righteousness. They are not trained to decide political message in split seconds. And this is not cruelty. This is a necessity. Because frankly, the police officer, the sheriff's officer, the state trooper, the ICE agent, the FBI agent, all leave their houses And the main thing they have on their mind is going back home to their family safely. So their training kicks in. So when women mistake moral conviction for somehow physical immunity, they place themselves in situations that they are not equipped to survive. Not because they're wrong politically, but because reaction time and force do not care about their beliefs. This is the truth young women are not being told. Girls learn behavior by watching women, their moms, their sisters, their aunts, their teachers, whomever. They do not learn primarily from academic theory or social media slogans. They learn from what adults do and then what happens afterwards. So when these girls see young women screaming at police officers without consequence, block vehicles with impunity, charge authority figures, and be restrained gently. Nobody gets punched in the face. Nobody gets slammed to the ground. Nobody gets their arms broken. They escalate confrontations and receive sympathy. They absorb a lesson. This is safe. And we know that it's not. The danger may not be immediate. That is what makes it so deceptive. The lesson sits dormant, unexamined, and unchallenged until one day the girl grows up, steps into a real situation, assumes that the rules she's observed still apply. And sometimes they do not. And when that lesson fails, it fails catastrophically. Not gradually, not symbolically, but all at one time. We talk about empowerment. Real empowerment has never meant recklessness. It's always meant awareness, skill, judgment, and self-restraint. Empowered women know when to speak and when to disengage. They understand power dynamics. They understand physical limits and situational risk. They do not confuse moral certainty with tactical safety. By contrast, female foolishness looks like provocation without capability. You are messing with somebody where you know you don't have, you can't win. What's the phrase? The phrase is, you are writing a check your ass cannot cash. And confidence without preparation. You're confident, but you have no idea what you're getting into. And they're assuming immunity instead of calculating the risk. Delegating blame after irreversible situations and decisions. This is not strength. This is negligence designed as courage. A culture that praises this behavior is not empowering women. It's setting traps for them. And here is an uncomfortable reality that nobody wants to say out loud, so we'll say it out loud here today. Equality without equal accountability is not justice. It is privilege. I'll say it again. You might want to write this down. Equality without equal accountability is not justice. It is privilege. And privilege, when it collides with reality, does not protect. It simply misleads. When women are shielded from consequences long enough, they are deprived of the feedback necessary for survival level judgment. We all learned walking up on that dog that you don't know and deciding that you're going to pet them. You're just going to pet the dog because it's a cute dog and you want to pet it. Most people my age, and from what I see from the algorithm and the analytics, most people your age know instinctively, yeah, that dog seems okay, but that's not my dog. And so what I'm not going to do is just walk up and pet it because I don't know. That dog could be dangerous. Risk assessment. That dog doesn't know that I don't mean it harm. It's not figuring out my intentions. I walked up on it and raised a hand and it bit me. Right? That's a necessary feedback for survival level judgment. But they are encouraged to believe that the world will always pause, always explain, always accommodate, and always forgive. And sometimes it will not. It's the world. And when it doesn't, the cost can be permanent. Folks, we have to learn this. We have to learn a couple of things. Teaching restraint is not oppression. Teaching reality is not misogyny. It's protection. Society that genuinely cares about women does not flatter them with fantasies. It equips them with truth. It teaches them how the world actually works, not how we wished it did. But why do young women no favors by telling them that they're immune to consequences? We do them no favors by pretending that authority will always hesitate, that force will always be restrained, or that moral righteousness confers physical safety. Those lies may feel compassionate, well, until they kill. A society that teaches women that they are immune from consequences is not protecting them. It's basically betraying them. If we want women to thrive and to lead and to be safe and to raise confident daughters, we must stop confusing slogans with survival. Because the world is real. Authority is real. Consequences are real. The most compassionate thing that we can do for young women today, I believe, is to tell them the truth before reality teaches it brutally. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Morning Report is production of fightbackmedia.com. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.